Let's learn about Chapter 10, Respiration in Organism of Grade 7. Today we are going to talk about the aerobic and the anaerobic respiration which happens in the organisms. So without further ado, let us start. Before plunging into aerobic and anaerobic respiration, let us understand why do we respire? Why do we have to breathe in? So it says that the cell, our body is made up of a lot of small cells, and it is the smallest structural and functional unit of an organism. So all the functions which are happening, digestion, respiration, excretion, are all happening through the cell. Plus it is giving you the structure. It is giving you the structure, your body the structure, your organs the structure. So cell is the smallest unit, but when all the cells they combine together, they form different organs, they form different organ systems, and that is how we all are made. Now each cell of an organism performs certain functions such as nutrition, transport, excretion and reproduction. To perform these functions, because they're performing, they're doing some work, so the cell will need some energy. And from where will it get this energy? We think that the food that we eat is giving us the energy, but our body is not able to take in the energy directly from the food. So from the food, the energy needs to be taken out with the help of oxygen. So this is what it happens. Like we take in food and oxygen, food plus oxygen definitely needed. Then there's a chemical reaction which is happening inside our cell. Because of that chemical reaction, carbon dioxide gas is released, some amount of water is released, plus there is a lot of energy which is being released in this process, and that is what is used by our body for various functions. Now there are certain terms that we need to understand. So what is respiration? Respiration is the process by which food is broken down in the cells of the body with the help of oxygen to release energy. So there is a huge difference between respiration and breathing. Breathing is taking in air, it's taking in oxygen and removing the carbon dioxide through your nostril. But respiration is a process which is happening inside your cell, where the food is broken down in the presence of oxygen to give you energy. Now cellular respiration is nothing but respiration happening in the cells of plants and animals. And in this process you have glucose plus oxygen, which is giving you carbon dioxide, water and energy. Now why is it important? Why the cellular respiration is important? Because it is changing the food energy into a type of energy which can be used by all the cells of your body. Now these are some examples where we're using the energy. So the respiration is supplying the energy which is used by the cells for chemical changes. It is also used in cell division. So one cell becoming 2, becoming 3, becoming 4, like whenever, if you have seen a snake, it sheds the skin. So from where is the new skin coming in? It is due to cell division, and this is happening due to respiration which it is doing. Now plants germinate. So again, germination is the process of growth where respiration is needed. So respiration happens both in plant and animal cells. Then you have muscle contraction. So we are going to talk about muscle contraction a little later. Now there are two types of respiration. The external respiration, that what we can see, what we can feel, that we are taking in air, we are throwing out air. That is the external respiration, which is also called breathing. And there is something called internal respiration, which is happening inside yourself, which you can't see, but it's happening, and it's the most important part. So you'll have aerobic and anaerobic happening. Cellular respiration is nothing but respiration process in which oxygen is being used to break glucose and take out carbon dioxide gas, water, plus a lot of energy for you to utilize. So cellular respiration is again of two types. One is aerobic, one is anaerobic. Aerobic, the term aerobic. So aerobic means something which has air into it. So respiration will need oxygen for the equation to get completed. So this aerobic respiration, it requires oxygen to break down sugar to produce energy in the cell. This is an equation, a very simple one. Like sugar, during photosynthesis also we have studied about this C6H12O6. So that's what sugar, the glucose formula is. Plus oxygen giving out you carbon dioxide, water and ample amount of energy for your body to utilize. So here the energy is being released, and it produces 36 ATPs. Now ATP is the unit of energy, which is adenosine triphosphate. So it is like, you don't have to remember the full form, but you just have to remember that more amount of energy is released during aerobic and less amount of energy is being released during anaerobic respiration. So when we talk about the other type of respiration, anaerobic. Now here we've always learned that respiration need oxygen, but there are certain respiration processes where oxygen is not available. So if oxygen is not available but we need energy, then during that time, it's a very short time, but in fact for that time also respiration is happening, which is the anaerobic respiration without any oxygen into it. Now glucose breaks down but without oxygen. That means it won't give you carbon dioxide and water. It is going to give you lactic acid and a bit of energy. So energy amount is again very less. It's giving you energy but very less, but very quickly it is giving you energy. This happens is, suppose you're running in a race and all of a sudden there is less oxygen, but you need oxygen, you need energy to finish that race. During that time your body starts doing anaerobic respiration. That is, it will break the glucose which is there into your body without oxygen. It will give you energy, but it will also produce the lactic acid, which later on is going to give you fatigue, that is tiredness, and it is going to give you cramps. So muscle cramps are actually result of oxygen debt, when you don't have enough oxygen in your body and lactic acid is being produced. So you will have to again oxidize this lactic acid, that is, you need to supply oxygen to this lactic acid, which will again turn into carbon dioxide and water. This was, I talked about in animals, like we are also animals, so in other animals also the same thing happens, but in the microorganism, that is yeast. It's a microorganism which is used, for the fermentation of your idli and dosa and bread. So in yeast, the glucose breaks down directly without any oxygen into alcohol plus carbon dioxide gas. Now that is because it's a breaking down process without the presence of oxygen, so it's also anaerobic respiration. This we talked about, exercise can create an oxygen debt. Now apart from the respiration, there are also aerobic and anaerobic bacteria. So bacteria which will need oxygen in order to respire, in order to convert food into energy, are called aerobic bacteria, and they are found in air, water, soil, wherever the oxygen is available. While the bacteria which can respire without needing oxygen, bacteria itself is an organism. Like we have a lot of cells and we need a lot of cells to live, but bacteria in one cell it is living. Entire organism is there in one cell. So bacteria can respire without needing oxygen. So such bacteria are anaerobic, and they are found in situation where oxygen is not there, like stagnant water. Suppose the water is standing for a long time, then obviously the oxygen will be very, very less in that. So then here anaerobic bacteria resides. Plus when there is waterlogged soil, so soil is full of water, there is no breathing space, there is no air space in the soil, then you will have anaerobic bacteria. You will also have it in the intestine of certain animals. Why do we get muscle cramps during the heavy exercise? Now this you should be able to answer now. That is, the cramps, they occur when muscle cells respire anaerobically. Without oxygen, they will produce lactic acid. And this lactic acid, a lot of lactic acid in your body will result into muscle cramp. So if you have muscle cramp, the best remedy is to have a hot water bath or massage. The moment hot water bath and massage will be there, your blood starts flowing. And when the blood starts flowing, oxygen will be there in each and every part of your leg or wherever the cramp is, and the cramp is going to subside down, and the lactic acid is going to get converted into carbon dioxide gas and water. Now these are the differences between aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. If you see aerobic, the first and the most important difference is it occurs in the presence of oxygen. This is in absence of oxygen. Here glucose is completely oxidized. That means glucose completely breaks down into CO2 and H2O. While in anaerobic, it doesn't break down completely. So there is some amount of glucose still left after the reaction. In aerobic, you will have end product as carbon dioxide and water. While in anaerobic, you are going to have lactic acid when it is in humans, and if it is in yeast, then it is going to be ethyl alcohol. Then in aerobic, more energy is going to be produced, like 36 ATPs, while in anaerobic, very little energy is produced, but it is very, very quick. Aerobic happens in most of the plants and animals, while anaerobic will be happening in some bacteria, some yeast and intestinal worms, and sometimes in humans also when we are running, when we are into heavy exercise. So this was all about aerobic and anaerobic respiration. In the next part we are going to discuss about the later part of the respiratory system. Till then, study this part, revise, and we'll get back.